All right, guys. So, quick physique check. All right, we are we're making progress. You can see this is just a relaxed uh, position for me, right? And you can see, right in here, you can see where it's kind of sucking in a little bit there. Definitely a lot more noticeable than it was, a month ago. But um, no no real super visible signs of abs yet. I mean, we're getting there, right? We're getting there. I think there's a lot of a lot of fat that was built up from this past bulk, uh, more than I would have liked to have had. So I think it's going to take a little longer to get some abs working here, but not bad. Whew. Yeah, still a lot of work to do. I think, you know, I think honestly, I'm probably gonna have to go like a full 90 days to really kind of, uh, get the stomach, to get the stomach, the abs popping. Everywhere else, like if you can see, I don't know if you can see with the lighting, but we're getting some separation right here in the delt where it meets the chest. So that's kind of cool. Getting, say, a little bit of striation in the shoulders, not a ton yet, but we're getting there. I remember the last cut, we had some decent striation, fairly decent in the shoulders. So they're coming. It's coming, but this is all just it's a progress thing, right? So this is like a progress report. So there's still many days left in this cut, but we are making progress. I'll see if I can throw a picture up of the first day of the cut when I did a check-in, and we'll see, um, what the comparison is, right? So I know I was definitely carrying a lot more belly fat, especially in the lower belly here. So I'd be eager to see what that would look like a side by side comparison. But overall, I think we're making progress. I mean, I'm 20 pounds lighter than I was at the beginning, which was like maybe 36, 37 days ago. So we're definitely making decent progress. So this is it, and I'll try to do more, you know, physique check-ins, and let you guys know where the progress is. But we'll see you in the editing room for the next video. All right, party people. So we did the check-in. This workout is not the same day as the check-in, but it's the second video today because I gotta catch up with my videos. But this was shoulders earlier this week, Wednesday, I think. So we started outside. I love this machine for wraps, and I've said this before. So we went with 3 plates here. I lean into it just a little bit, just so I can kind of, like, instead of just coming directly up, I can kind of squeeze back a little bit with it and just really hit the whole trap, as opposed to just the top portion right here. So I've never like looked it up to determine whether or not this is proper form or not, but it feels really good. So I'll have to look into that, but it felt really good. That was a pretty heavy set, 3 plates. I mean, heavy for me. I went down to 2 plates. With shrugs, if I don't mind doing like one really heavy set, but it winds up getting to the point where my form is messed up and I'm not feeling it in the traps. I'm like, I don't know where I'm feeling it, but I'm not getting the squeeze that I want. So a lot of times I'll do one heavy set. I will feel that in the traps. Then I'll go a little bit lighter just so I can really concentrate on that squeeze up at the top. So not bad. I like the form. I like how I'm bent inward a little bit with this. Um, am I wearing the same shirt? No, that's this is my. I think there's an American flag on the back of this, right? I'm looking at the video. I'm like, am I wearing the same shirt? Anyway, this is usually one of my arm workout shirts. Certain shirts go with certain lifts. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that. Probably not. Using the wrist straps almost always on any kind of like shrug, um, or most back movements, stuff like that. Anything where there's a lot of involvement in the forearm, just kind of it actually gives me a better grip, and it also just takes a lot of the pressure off of the forearms too, so I can concentrate more on the traps. So I think we just did 3 sets here. And this was a good. I love starting with shrugs. Some people do shrugs at the end of their workout, and I'm not opposed to that. I think that's perfectly fine. For some reason, I start with the shrugs because there is a little bit of rear delt in there, and I almost always start my shoulder workouts with rear delts. So this gets the rear delts kind of, a little bit of blood flowing back in there. And then we did. I think I just did one warm up set on the pec deck here, and then we just went into a heavier set. I don't know what the number is. I don't remember. Maybe like 160, something like that, is usually right around what I do. But when I look at this, my shoulders are dropped. My head is bobbing a little bit, but I don't think that that's too big of a deal. And there's not a pad behind me to really rest my head on anyway. This was a pretty heavy set. Went right to failure. Not bad. And we did a second set here. A little bit of a different angle. That's the beauty of having the magnet on the phone. I can just stick it anywhere, man. It's great. But so I think I went a plate lighter on this second set, if I'm not mistaken, just so I could make sure I got enough reps and was able to really come back. But if you look, like, my torso is like almost perfectly still. It's just the rear delts that are doing all the work. Shoulders are dropped. They're not up here. I'm not doing this. They're down, coming out. Nice controlled movement. That is key. That's what I'm looking for. We went to failure on this. And then we did a third set of reverse pec deck flies. We did drop set pins on this one. If I remember correctly, I miscalculated the top pin. I think it was too light. I had to adjust it. I think. Well, we're gonna find out. I'm like 99% sure. But looking good so far. Shoulders maintain. Well, the Phillies are winning. That's good. Maintaining really good form. Like I said, my entire body is still. It's not moving, and it's just the rear delts doing all of the work. Went to complete failure. Drop a pin. Crank out a couple more reps here. I don't know. I don't remember how many. Looks like it's just going to be a few. Maybe 4. 3.5. Drop it. And I have a funny fit. Yep. So it should have been a little bit heavier on the last one. I just misgauged it. That's all. It would have. I would have done like way too many reps. So I wanted to be a little bit heavier. But nice and slow, nice controlled. And, when you do these really slow, especially on the negative, it really burns and puts a lot of stress on the rear delt. So definitely a phenomenal rear delt exercise. One of my favorites. I think if I had to pick, if I was only able to do one movement for rear delts ever, it would be dumbbell reverse flies, probably on the incline bench, kind of leaned up against it, coming back. That's what I would probably do, because those I really feel. But I like to switch it up a little bit. I think I did those last week, so we did these this week. No big deal. So we did a rest pause, went back for a few more reps. There we go. Attaboy. Not bad. Definitely, okay, yep. So, overhead press, 2 plates. I'm letting everybody know, 2 plates, all right? Because you can't really see it from the camera angle. I think there were some other people in the gym, particularly right in front of me where the lateral raise machine is, which is directly across from this. So I didn't want to put the camera over there. A lot of times I will put the camera there. But we just, yeah, this is good. You know, shoulders are dropped, head's back, head's not bobbing. I like that. That's good. Some nice solid reps, nice and slow on the down, on the negative, nice and slow. I'm not dropping it. I'm not bouncing it on the pads. I mean, I literally, there was a dude on this machine, and he was a young buck, man. He was probably 16 years old, but he had like like a plate on each side, and you know, but I see people do this all the time. I'm not just calling him out, but you know, they get it up and then they're like, bam, they bounce it, similar to the hammer strength bench press, right? So you got the pads, it's set up just like this, but you're laying flat. You know, I see people put like 4 plates on there, and they come up and then they're like, boom, and all they're doing is bouncing the weight. They're not lifting 4 plates. I mean, I could probably put 5 plates on each side if I was bouncing it, because my muscles aren't doing any of the work, right? So it just defeats the purpose. So, you know, you want to do the exercise right. I want to do the exercise the right way, or at least to the best of my ability, right? So these look pretty good. We went straight up to failure and beyond. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get that last rep up, but I just tried anyway. And you're still putting a tremendous amount of stress on the delt. The thing I like about this machine is, you know, it's a lot of front delt, but you're actually hitting the side delts too. I mean, you're hitting the front and side, so it's a win-win situation. Though I don't particularly do this exercise solely for the side delts, I do like to incorporate some lateral raises or something, whether it's a machine or cable or dumbbells. We just did a few sets here to. That's the 3rd set. Looks like we have a 4th set, so we did 4 sets here. And I did drop the weight a little. I think there's a plate. It looks like a 35 on there. It could be a 25. Some of the 25s in this gym look like a 35, but they're not. I don't remember if it's a 35 or a 25. I have a funny feeling it's a 25. But we're cranking them out. Now we're getting some. When it starts getting heavy, my head's all over the place. I don't like that, but you know, at least we cranked. Oh, we did a drop set here. Yeah, I think it's the body's natural reaction. You know, when you're really struggling to get a weight up, sometimes some people, they're moving their legs around. I probably do that too. You just can't see my legs in the shot here. But so we stripped the quarters off. We just went with the plate. Not bad. I mean, the form. I think the form is perfectly fine. Again, this machine is set up to where the only bad form you can have is just coming down too fast and bouncing the weight, or not going up all the way, right? So it's kind of hard to mess this up as long as you pay attention to those 2 things. Right? So don't bounce the weight, and make sure you get a full extension up. Not locking the elbows, but you know, coming up just before locking. You never want to lock your elbows on this. You don't want to lock anything on any movement. That's bad. We did a rest pause here. Not bad. Just went back for the kill. There we go. Head's flush now, but I have a funny feeling it's going to start bobbing a little bit here when I start struggling. Maybe? I don't know. No, I kept my head flush. So sometimes I remember to keep it flush on the pad. Sometimes I don't. We went over here. I just did continuous alternating side lateral raises. No rest. So it was just back and forth, back and forth. Let's see how the form looks here. Yeah, you know, one of the things I like to point out, and you know, I see a lot of people do this. So like, when I am coming, if you notice, when I come down with it, I'm not letting my hand come all the way down like this and taking the weight all the way off the shoulder. I'm coming down just before just before, like right around where my leg is, because it just keeps constant tension on the shoulder. So when you come down with it, a lot of people, with dumbbells, they come up and then they come and they slam them together, and it takes all the tension off, right? So, you know, come in, maybe just let them touch and then go right back up. Because, for me, I want to keep the tension on the muscle. That's, I damage the muscle and make it grow, right? So, but overall, I think the form is pretty good here. I don't have a problem kind of leaning to the side a little bit, or let's say, yeah, like so. I'll hold on to something and kind of lean to the side and go like this, which I am leaning a little bit on these. I have no problem with that. I tend to do that with cable um, lateral raises. With dumbbells, not so much. Usually, if I do dumbbells, um, I think most of the time it's double armed. So let's see here. Yeah, form looks good. Shoulders are dropped. Nice controlled movement up and down. I'm not, swinging my body to swing the weight up. And you see that one guy that he's on like Instagram. I think he's just trying to be funny because there's no way he's really working out. But he'll grab like the 100-pound dumbbells and he'll be like, oh, oh. It's like you're doing zero shoulder work whatsoever. It's really fun. He is a funny guy. It's hilarious. But again, I don't think he's being serious. I'm pretty sure he's, at least I hope it's a parody account. But overall, looking pretty decent. Nice and slow on the down, or the negative, or do they call it eccentric, right? Um, Not bad. We just get to the point where you just got to start cranking them out because it just burns. That lactic acid is building up, just really burning the shoulders. I think this was the last one right here. Let's see here. Yeah, I have no problem with these side lateral raises. I think they're good. I think the weight was pretty decent too. I think we started with 4 plates and then we dropped to 3. So, not bad. Shoulders were just completely on fire after this. And that is that, folks. So, we did a little check-in at the beginning of the video. At the beginning of this video, not bad. I'm not gonna lie. You know, and I see myself every day in the mirror, so it's probably harder for me to see the results of the diet compared to other people. I know my wife has mentioned, that um, she's like, "Wow, you're getting a lot leaner." I've had a couple other people, like at work and just different places that I go, that have said, "Oh, you're trimming up." So I know it's definitely working. Plus, I see the scale going down, right? But when I physically look at myself on the video, and I'm like looking and I'm like, I feel like I should be leaner, right? Maybe I'm just critiquing myself a little bit. Maybe I'm being a little hard on myself. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? I think that's just more motivation to, step it into higher gear and just put more of an effort into it, right? So I think if, you know, anytime, a lot of motivational speakers will say this. I think a lot of times, once you get to the point where you can sit back and look at yourself and be like, oh, okay, I like the way I look. Then you hit that comfort zone, right? So then it's harder to push, right? Because you're like, all right, I'm good, so I don't have to work as hard, and then after that, it's like, let's have a cheat meal. Let me eat an entire pizza, right? So now you're like, hindering your progress, right? Um, I think Denzel Washington said something to the effect of, "Nothing will kill your progress faster than ease," meaning being comfort, and um, we're so I don't ever want to be fully satisfied with how I look, because then I might get comfortable and be like, okay, maybe I'll take it easy on leg day tomorrow. Maybe I'll just do like 2 sets of extensions. My legs look great. I should have checked my legs on the video actually, but we'll do that later. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So being comfortable is a danger zone, in my opinion. And I know a lot of motivational speakers will say that same thing, right? I mean, we hear it all the time on social media. We're doom scrolling, right? There's always that one motivational guy that was like, get off your ass, don't get comfortable. And that's what they mean, you know what I mean? So I think if you don't want to be satisfied. I mean, I could be as ripped as freaking Sebum today on the day of the Olympia, and I bet you I would sit back and be like, man, I could be a little bit leaner. And that's a good thing, because it's just I don't know, it's how my brain is wired. It just because then it just makes me want to go further and try harder and be better, right? So never get comfortable. Comfort, um, comfort is a danger zone. And it's the same thing. Like, and I fell into this years ago where it was like, I mean, I wasn't work for years. I was not working out at all. Didn't have a gym membership. Just come home from work, flop on the couch, watch TV, eat potato chips, whatever. Didn't pay attention to anything protein related, nothing. And my body paid, and I paid for it, man, because I think it was like 20, was it in 2021 is when I like really started getting back to the gym. Was it 2021? I think so. Yeah. And I showed this picture before where, dude, I looked like I never lifted a day in my life. I mean, I had like those sagging dog tits, I was the man boobs. My waist was like it was. I didn't have like a pot belly, but it was just super thick. I mean, no waistline whatsoever, right? So it looked horrible, and I felt horrible, And it wasn't until I went through a breakup that I was like, dude, man, I'm single. I got to get my ass to the gym, right? So, and then my buddy Jeff, who you've seen in previous videos out in LA that I used to train with a little bit, he was like, come on, go to the gym with me, go to the gym with me. I'm like, nah. I wanted to be comfortable, right? So going to the gym was not comfortable for me because I wasn't used to it for so many years. So I would just, nah, maybe tomorrow. It was always, I'll go tomorrow, Jeff. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go tomorrow. And I never went. And I remember the one day he's like, it's kind of like hibernating in my apartment at the time. I wouldn't leave the house. I was just going through some craziness. And he's like, dude, you're coming to the gym with me, or I'm gonna come over there and drag your ass out of the house. And he probably would have come over and physically dragged me out of the house. So I was like, all right, dude, let me go to the gym. And that first workout, man, I was like, fuck this, man. I was so sore, man. Oh my God. And then, but I pushed through and I did a full week. And then I felt a sense of accomplishment. And I was like, oh man, I remember this. I remember this. Like, I like this feeling. And then the second week I went back, got a little bit better, little bit stronger, a little less sore, and then the rest is history. But if you fall into that comfort zone where you're just coming home from work and you're like, I worked all day, I can't get to the gym, or I woke up late, I couldn't go to the gym in the morning before work. You make all these excuses, you get into that comfort zone because it is easier to not go to the gym. It is easier for me to order a pepperoni pizza tonight and just eat it and watch a movie with my wife. It is easier for me to, uh, you know, anything, right? Anything that you want in life requires work and getting outside of your comfort zone. So, don't get comfortable. And if you are getting comfortable, just just remember, get your ass to the gym. All right. Just remember, I'm gonna make a shirt one day. It's gonna say, "Get your ass to the gym." I'm gonna put it on the back of the shirt so everybody sees it, because it'll just make you feel good, right? So, like, if you're one of those guys that's watching videos and you're like, "Oh man, one day I'm gonna get in shape." Don't. That's a horrible, horrible. Because you're gonna say that every day for so long, and your body's going to get worse. Your mental stability is going to get worse. You know, don't one day. No, today. Today I'm going to change it. So, getting outside of your comfort zone is always a good thing, and never be fully satisfied with your results, because I think that will hinder your progress, right? So, just my little bit of advice here for today. But I hope you guys have a great night. And I've already said it once, but I'll say it again. If you haven't been to the gym yet, get your ass to the gym. And have a great Saturday night, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.